I'm going on Black Sheep show.
Oh,
no
nice.
way. What a shit show.
I'm gonna go degen over there.
Yeah, you're degenning for sure.
I love it. I love it.
There isn't an alley I won't crawl through. Always been one to embrace the least of us.
Hell yeah. Love it. Love it. Oh, there's Crispy Man. What's up? Good to see you, brother. Thank you. Thank you.
What's up, guys?
What's up, Crispy?
Hey, if I'm doing pretty good. How you doing? If if I get laggy, tell me and I'll reboot. My computer's stuck, so I just came in anyways.
No problem. No problem. Sure, Mr. Access will be popping in here. Give him a minute. I'll start the intro and we'll go from there. Here we go.
We can hear you.
All right, SEC charges Hex founder Richard Hart with misappropriating millions of dollars of investors' funds from unregistered crypto asset security offering, raising more than $1 billion. We'll have more on this in 10.
Bang, bang. How's everybody doing? V.I.C and Crypto. Welcome to the show, peeps. Appreciate everybody coming. Let's get everybody up on screen.
Happy to be here, vets. Happy to be here.
Yeah.
Are we live? There we go. I was like,
You're live.
what the hell's
baby.
going on?
We're live.
First, you got a
Dude,
hot
look
mic.
at- he's
Everybody
behind
heard
us.
what we were talking about in the green room, by the way.
Beth's just trying to hide out like in the bushes and shit. Look at
I'm gonna have to go back and listen.
Oh, man.
Are you using OBS or what?
Boy, this is worse than my first days, huh?
I was gonna say, what kind of shit show did we roll into here?
Like
Oh,
my
boy.
15-minute streams with my mic turned off and all that good shit. What's up, Axis? How you doing, buddy?
Good. How's everyone doing?
Good, man. It's good to see you, Axis.
Good to
Chris,
see
I
you.
haven't seen your face in a while. That's good to see you, buddy.
Yes, yes. Welcome one, welcome all.
Still can't
Oh,
see
My
Nick.
veteran themed cup today,
Oh, nice.
Oh, there you go. There you
or
go.
deer hunting, whatever you want to say.
Over the top.
I
Well,
got to
same.
get me one of those big Stanley cups. What size am I supposed to get in order to be cool?
The biggest.
The biggest?
The biggest one. Yeah, absolutely.
Make sure you get the one with the handle.
Got to put it. They got them with a backpack on them or something.
Yeah, with a little sling on it, like you'd carry your rifle.
There you go. That's what I need. I need one of those.
Hell yeah.
Vets,
That's
we got to figure out how to get you on screen here.
I was just gonna say, man, like
Are you-
you're just
are you
hiding,
running through
literally
OBS?
behind the scenes.
Are you
No,
running through OBS?
I'm not running through OBS, just standard.
Whoa! What in the heck are you doing back
I've never
there?
even seen that setting. Is
I
that-
just
No,
see.
I
I
haven't
just see an eyeball.
There you
go.
I don't know.
There
There
we
we go.
Oh, I know what happened. You had a separate scene that you had set up. Okay, that makes
Yeah,
sense.
hey man, it's the
I like that.
FNG.
I liked putting the banner up there beforehand. That's pretty cool. I might have to steal that from you.
hey man, we all learn from each other, right? So if this is the worst that's happened between getting the Eastern Standard Time wrong, we'll count my blessings. So thank you all for joining, gentlemen. Greatly appreciate it. It's an honor and a privilege. Thank you very much. Peeps in the chat, thank you for all attending today's episode. What do you do now that you have mad gains? This is more just of a PSA, just a loose discussion. Hear some people's stories and thoughts and how they went about it, or what they plan to do if they have not executed such plans. I know one thing for sure is not to do it through your personal accounts, unless you're going to pay the man a heavy tax price. It is an option, but it's probably the worst option because it's the easiest option, in my opinion. So it doesn't mean that it's the best, most economical option when it comes to that. So keeping with the theme of the show, anytime I do a solo stream and I have guests on, I ask guests if they are not a military veteran or a first responder or serve in some capacity supporting those communities to please bring on a guest that meets one of the criteria. And with that, so we can get to know people in the community. And I want to hear their stories and build upon it. I think we are the silent majority, and there's a crowd. We know, like on the Hex side, there's a ton of veterans and first responders, and that goes for crypto in general on any chain. It really doesn't matter. And my goal is to pay it forward. On my Monday night stream with co-host Randy Hilarski, we cover everything from mental health, PTSD, to VA benefits, current topics, what have you, a dash of crypto at a 30,000 foot view, and go from there. So there is no Maxiism. This is an open discussion, open platform. We can talk about anything on any chain, any token or project that we may wish. So starting with the captain, if you just would give us a brief synopsis of your military career, background, MOS, maybe when you EAS'd or not. It's up to you.
So first of all, let's caveat your first beginning of your conversation with alleged mad gains. Alleged.
It wasn't until that boat accident. It looked like he was going to have mad gains. Then we had that boat accident that one time.
I mean, my keys are on the boat. So.
Yep.
That's where I keep them. That's where I heard they're safest. So that's where they stay. Obviously, Marine Corps, back in the 80s, I'll leave it at that. Was a 0311. That means I walked around with a pack on my back and a gun in my hand, and snooped and pooped through the mountains and deserts and crawled through swamps and did all that stupid stuff. And then I was also a PRP Marine, which meant I held a secret clearance and did 2 years of work for President Reagan back in Virginia. And that was when him and Gorbachev were making some negotiations. So I was helping with that. And that was my career.
Outstanding. Yeah. So fast forward, a little bit. Now they refer to it as like MSG, Marine Security Guard detail. Yeah. But like how you're explaining, you get the nice suits and everything, and you're on detail. Like those are the ones at the embassies.
Well, I was in my greens for the duty, but we didn't get all the dress blues and all that stuff. But I was at a base that had Puller Hall on it, so Chesty Puller's museum was there. So
Chesty
check this out. Here's a little something cool. This hand right here shook the hand of the hand that more than likely jacked the can we say things?
Whatever you want, bro.
Jacked the wank of Chesty Puller, because his wife used to come in and visit us at the base, and I got to meet her and shake her hand. And so for you Marines, that's probably important. For everybody else, what the hell did you just say, RG? Look up Chester Fuller.
Yeah. You gotta know some history for sure. Pick your teeth with the guidon stick.
Yes.
Mr. Crispy, Hexfire IO, how you doing? Good to see you,
brother. Nice to see you.
Nice to meet you. I've been wanting to know your history for a very long time. So please indulge us if you would.
Oh, history, huh? Yeah. So I have to date myself, kind of like RG3. Man, I'll try to be succinct. I'll tell you the funny stories. I got some jokes, maybe not appropriate, but 1980s, you guys, how everybody thinks the world's going to end now, right? We hear this every day. So in the 1980s, we thought the world was going to end then too, right? Anyways, World War III was around the corner, right? Cold War. What did I decide to do? I decided to join the Marines, right? And so I started that process, right? Big John Wayne fan, I was going to join the Marines. My brother was in the Marines, right? My uncle was in the Marines. Anyways, so I go down there to the recruiting office, and lo and behold, you know what was happening? That Marine was out doing PT somewhere, right, with all his recruits, and the Navy guy was there, and he goes, "Hey, kid, what are you doing here?" "Oh, we all work together." I understand now how things really work, but back then I didn't understand, right? And he's like, "Hey, kid, we all work together. I'll take care of you. Have you taken the ASVAB yet?" Or ASVAB, which is a test to kind of put you with a career path. And I said, "No, I haven't." So he tested me, right? And he's like, "Hey, you're doing pretty good. We can guarantee some schools, right?" And so that's how I was stolen from the Marine Corps. I don't know if I would have been a good Marine. I like to think I would have been, but I ended up down this path where he says, "Hey, we can give you some schooling." And I was like, "Yeah, I don't like school, right? That sounds like a great idea. I'm going to go into the military instead of go to college, right?" He says, "Hey, how about this nuclear power stuff? You want to go to the nuclear power program?" I'm like, "I don't know." He says, "Well, only 20% make it through." I said, "Sign me up." Right? Sign me up. So I signed up for going to school for 2 years instead of going to college. Makes sense, right? I didn't want to go to college. That was when my mother said to me, "Why aren't you going to college?" I was like, "Oh, Mom, I'm just not that good of a student." So instead, I joined the military, where if you don't perform, you're going to get screwed, right? They're going to F you all up, right? So I joined the Navy, and he says, "Hey, um, this, one of the worst jobs out there is to become an electrician." And I said, "Electrician?" He said, "Yeah, because you got to stay on the boat, and you don't get to go off the boat, but it's a really good job." So I went and became an electrician. Sign me up, right? And then he's like, "Hey, and you know what the worst job of all is? You're away all the time. Is go join the submarine force." Right. So then I said, "Yes, sign me up." So yes, I signed up. I signed up for I started with the Marines, ended up in the Navy on board submarines, and they're like, "Hey, and you know what's even worse than all this? Because at this time I'm already married, got a kid on the way, and 18 years old." He says, "We can put you on these boomers." And for anybody who knows what I'm talking about, those nuclear subs, and hey, you go out for 3 months at a time. And you're away. So anybody who's married has kids, you're like, "How's this work?" Right? So then I signed up to leave my wife behind and a newborn that'll eventually come, and I joined the submarine service, start going through all the training and everything. So 2 years of training, electrician, learned how to operate nuclear power plants, and then started going out to sea. So that's my story, and it was tough, but I'm glad to have done it and happy for the Navy and all that. And then the final thing is, while you might have been hanging around with Reagan, there, RG,
Mhm.
we were out making holes in the ocean, right? Carrying all these nuclear missiles. I can't, people don't, you'd have to go do the research. Some people who are aware of it know there were hundreds of nuclear submarines doing this, right? It wasn't just a few. And we're just out, poking these holes in the ocean, waiting for something to happen. And then one day I woke up, and we got this radio broadcast and a little piece of paper that says, "Hey, the Cold War's over." Hey, by the way, they tore down the Berlin Wall. I guess we missed the nuclear clock there. right? So
Mhm.
no more World War III, and I got out of the Navy a few months later, and then well, it was more like a year later, and then they turned that ship into razor blades.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
So
And I helped do
total.
it. That's what I was doing. I was helping do the drawdown of all of the those things that you guys were carrying around in those subs.
There
What
were a lot of them.
overall? How many years did you serve, Chris?
I just did 6 years. I know a lot of guys that stayed a lot longer, but I just did 6 years. But the 6 years set me up for the rest of my life. So no
Right.
complaints.
Right. Did either of you guys use the GI Bill or anything on the backside?
Couple weeks.
Yeah. Right.
I used it. I used the option to educate myself on board ship. Back
Yeah.
then, we didn't have all the fancy stuff we have today. So we did have a computer though, and I could do some of that. But no, man, I missed the old GI Bill, and I got out in January of '90, and so like if I'd been in 1 month later, I would have been golden, man, free school forever, right?
Right.
But nope.
Yeah, I got my mad hat, huh? Huh? You know it. What's up?
That's right.
Yeah.
Gonna change the
Yeah.
world.
You
The
know
first company that's been approved by the SEC to tokenize their equity and put it on Pulse Chain. So,
it. Wow. I mean, that's
I-
something.
That's mad.
yep, that is
That
mad.
That is
It's
mad.
mad crazy.
Legit. Mr. Axis Alive, how you doing, my brother?
Doing good, man. Thanks for having me on. Congratulations on starting your own thing.
Thank you.
You've been a huge supporter for me for the last year. So I thought, had to come in here and support you.
Appreciate it.
Good seeing you on the cruise as well as RG3. Those live events are always where all the magic happens. But yeah, I was just thinking about this nuclear sub thing that you're talking about, and I remembered this map. It was like an interactive map that shows you all of the nuclear explosions that's happened over the past like 80 or 90 years, and it just takes you through a time lapse. So it shows you the whole globe, and then it takes you through a time lapse of every single explosion that's went off.
Wow.
And it's funny because I'm actually watching it right now. If you want, I can pull it up. It's kind of interesting.
It's the ones that didn't explode that worry me.
Right.
Yeah, good point.
But hey, you guys down in Georgia, I'm up here in Connecticut, man. I guess I won't feel it.
Is that don't they have one of the old original ones like stuck in a swamp somewhere? They can't find it, or they find it?
There's quite a few of them. Yeah.
So it tells you at the top of the screen here, like every country, Britain, China, America, how many bombs that they've launched, and now we're on 1970. Each month it ticks, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th month, and so it's showing you each month and all the bombs and where they were launched. So it's kind of crazy, but I think it gets to like 1990, like right after the Cold War ended or whatever, and then it just stops. You stop seeing these explosions popping up on the screen. It's crazy.
Well, yeah, because they eventually figured out that the world's a lot smaller than they thought it would be. And that the stuff doesn't stay in one place.
9 or whatever it is floating around out there.
Look at how many was going off here in the States and in the West, in the desert. Like, it's just crazy. Yeah. Like, and does that not have an impact on our environment? Or I don't know if it's keeping up.
It's perfectly safe, man. Don't even
Totally safe.
Oh, good.
No questions here.
My kid,
no
freedom. 833.
We just had the flippers and antennas removed from my kids when they were born, and they're fine now.
Nothing, a little bit of gene therapy. Oh, wait, that's just been invented.
Yeah. I blame my obesity on all the nuclear bombs that went off.
Yes.
Yeah, no kidding.
That's funny. The Marines just, we get treated as we deserve, I should say. But when I was working with the Navy, with the Seabees around all this stuff, these guys, every single one of them had these things called TLDs on them. And they were a little box that they wore that told how much radiation that they were exposed to. And they would come in while we were standing guard around these things. They'd come in, do their thing, and then leave, and they'd all check their TLDs and stuff. I'm like, and I'm still standing there, and I ain't got a TLD. Well, we were around that stuff the whole time. They didn't give us those things. Marines didn't get to wear those.
You had to have a special
we-
clearance or what?
We were like the canaries in the coal mine. It's like,
Yes.
we got a couple of them flopping around in bed. You might want to go make sure that
The most expendable. And that's how you felt just going through sick bay. You know, like we'd go through like yeah. You know, just lining
stand over
up
there up against that wall.
yeah, just air guns, just shooting everything in your arms. Yeah, and then we had the whole anthrax, series of shots and everything like that. And
malaria pill day, remember that stuff? Oh, God.
Oh, bro.
Yeah. You get used to getting shots, that's for sure.
Oh, and I know everybody's all worried about the pandemic shots, and I'm like, dude, the government shot all of us military bros up with some, double armed. All during boot camp. They get out and they never stop sticking needles in you, man. And they don't tell you what it is.
No, I'm just kidding.
sometimes it wasn't just needles. Yeah. Ain't nothing like being in a room with 100 other guys, you know.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like taking a crap with 100 other guys. With
that was no doors, no walls.
Yeah,
Skitters all lined up.
Great.
Yeah,
that was great.
Talk about
Feel like RG.
Talk about pulling one off in front of everybody. That really was what hurt. That was hard.
You get to know people real
you get
quick.
used to it, but it's hard.
Fuck it, we're all doing the same thing, man.
Right?
Is this a recruiting message from? Is that what we're doing now?
Oh God, no doubt. So just to touch on the title of the show briefly, then we can get back to all the other stuff. I wanted to pick people's brains about if they've thought about exit strategies, different avenues, resources that are out there. I'll share what I chose to do. I'm an older person, self-employed. And I always believed and believe in crypto and what it can potentially yield and produce. So it wasn't about earning or the potential of. My stress really was the tax implications and how to properly off ramp. If a lot of people have dealt with legacy finance and stocks and that legacy side, a lot of people were in the AMC, GME run squeeze. And if you pulled any money out from that, you probably owed some taxes because you didn't do it through a Roth IRA or something of that nature. And you learned real quick that those capital gains, short term and long, but hurt and they add up. So it began my quest, and I always kept my ears open and wanted to learn. And I'm always like a sponge. Like I've been quiet, these last 2-3 years, just learning the game, learning security and crypto, learning from all you guys, Discourse Syndicate, Hexo. Everybody as the evolution of everything has come along. And ultimately, I chose to go down the route of MCA, which is Mountain Crypto Advisors. And I was one of the first 13, the first batch to go through the process of signing up and everything. And what I quickly realized, and I knew, but what I realized, what was ingrained even more, is that I would have effed it up. There's procedures and processes that need to happen in order, and words matter in legal documents that I knew I didn't have the time being self-employed, let alone I'm not a legal person. I made a few phone calls and called around, and people nothing was a package. And I think that's the biggest thing, is having everything like a one-stop shop. And, like MCA is not for everybody. You go through an initial consult and see if it's a fit for you or not. You can go on your own. There's resources out there. We'll talk on that a little bit next week, a little more detail. But that's the avenue I chose. I'm happy with it. And by all means, this is just a general conversation about off-ramping. And that's the route I chose. If anybody else wants to add and build upon that, feel free.
Yeah, I mean, I think these guys are probably ultimately more qualified to speak to the model that might be best for everyone. I know in my experience, the route that I think is the most advantageous is, setting up a trust and then allowing that trust to own all of your assets. So all of your seed phrases are going to be documented in that, and then you're just the manager of that trust. So that has special tax benefits as well. And then, inside of there, you can put businesses, so like LLCs or other types of businesses. And this kind of like reduces the liabilities to your own individual person, and then offloads those onto other methods. So that might be like the starting point for the conversation.
Yeah, that's a great point. So when it comes to you owning assets, if you look at the wealthiest individuals in the world, they don't own anything under their names, just as Axis just pointed out. They have trusts that own everything. And even the businesses themselves, the owner of the businesses are the trusts and not them individually. Now, you can be, especially with like an irrevocable or a revocable, becomes irrevocable after you die, living trust, then you can actually be like, have complete checkbook control. There's more specialized trusts like asset protection trusts where you want to put a bundle of things, and it's even more secure than an irrevocable or a revocable living trust. It's even harder to get access to. But the only downside, there's pros and cons to everything, and that's why it may not be a fit for everyone. With those types of trusts, which we also do set up, you put these assets that even yourself doesn't have access to, and that's why it provides extra liability protection for you as an individual. So if you do something, you hit a kid out in the street, God forbid, and hopefully nobody ever does that in their vehicle, and the family and everybody else comes after you and comes for all of your assets, this trust is completely protected, even more so, more insulated even than the revocable living trust is. Now, the other side to it, though, is that you don't have access, you don't have checkbook control of what's in that trust. So you have what's called a trustee, and most attorneys pay a fee every year to have them be your trustee and file all the right paperwork and say that you're in compliance. But there's there's things like education, emergencies, medical, maintenance is another one that they call it, that you can apply to your trustee to have them pay out to you. Those are things you want in a long-term protection, like that are going to go to your kids, that like you want to have control how that's even spent. Say you got 100 rental properties and you just want the kids to live off the dividends and never touch the principal, and you put someone in place like a property manager to manage these places and keep them maintained and everything of that nature. But this keeps the kids from being able to actually sell those properties, but they can still take distributions from it based upon whether it qualifies into these different categories. And then we also set up, on top of all of that, we set up charitable remainder trusts. So that increases the tax benefits that you get for running everything through a trust. I'll come back to how you can offload into a trust for a different tax or a different tax treatment than what you would through your personal. Again, guys, or not again, because I haven't said it yet, but you guys need to talk to accountants. You need to talk to attorneys. You need to do your own due diligence. Have the professionals. I'm just giving a 30,000 foot overview. This is up to you guys to do your own research and have the professionals give you their ideas and whether it even fits with what you're trying to accomplish. But with the charitable remainder trust, you even have another way of giving to the trust and getting the tax break up front. But the money that's in that charitable remainder trust doesn't actually go to the charity of your choice until after a set time, 5, 10, 20, at death. You can set that timeline at which it goes. In the meantime, you've already got the tax benefit off of it, so it provides you additional tax benefits on top of how a trust is treated with taxes. And then you actually can even make money within that trust and take distributions off of that money as it's growing in that trust before it gets donated down the road to the charity of your choice or We can even create a family foundation for you if you guys want to be, if you've got that net worth and you want to create your own charity or family foundation that has a whole host of charities that you want to support. We can do that through Mountain Crypto Advisors as well. So one thing a lot of people aren't familiar with is, and Vets, you did a great job talking about this up front. Your worst tax liability is short-term capital gains. And so you buy a crypto, you make some money off of it, and you come back out before the year's up, you're getting hit at essentially your ordinary income level. But if you can hold it at least a year, that's really kind of your best case scenario with buying and holding and selling cryptos down the road if you're going to do it through your own person. But even better is it's possible for the trust to technically own the crypto, the company, the LLC you create that manages the crypto, it be the one that actually do the offboarding, and then you can actually defer those assets literally into perpetuity forever. There's different arguments and different discussions on that between attorneys and accountants out there. But there's some guys. Vets is very familiar with this guy. I've been talking with him as well. John J. Singleton, Ace of Coins. If anyone wants to go check that out, he's got some really neat, interesting ideas. Not every accountant and not every attorney I've ever talked to agrees with him on what he's talking about, but he's got legal letters to prove it, and we've got some options through him as well. So there's 1,000 different ways to skin this cat, but you really do need to talk with these professionals and see if it fits the way that they want to exit you out. You need to get multiple opinions, and you need to find out which is going to work best for your specific situation, because it's not cookie cutter. One thing works for everybody, guys.
Yeah, that's for sure. 100%. Escharta. What is the best Eschatar? What is the best bank you found to partner with for these trusts? I mean, for me, I'll tell my story on that. I went in, all my stuff is with Chase. So I went into Chase and I said it's for I set up my LLC under like for buying houses. I didn't mention anything about crypto whatsoever. It was an investment account for buying and flipping property. And just, went down their myriad of questions, how much, this, that. And after like 3 separate visits, I finally got it to go through. It's, it's a process. It's not easy. And that's a huge hurdle. So once you get that LLC set up, then you find a central exchange and then open up an account in the name of the LLC to off ramp into that. You just don't want to do anything into your personal name. You want to go into a trust or an LLC or anything other than your personal name. So that's the route in my experience thus far with it. Anybody else? Crispy, what are your thoughts? Yeah.
I gotta weigh in on this real quick here, guys. In my personal situation, small regional banks always work better, especially the smaller community banks. And it seems to be the case with all of our clients to date. There's a lot less questions asked. The people know you locally, and for goodness sakes, guys, let's give some support to those local banks. They're what makes the American economy actually work. Not these J.P. Morgan Chases, not the giant banks that are just out there for the big money grab, and you're just another number on the balance sheet. The local banks in your community, the small community and regional banks, are the ones that actually care to keep you as a customer. And I've had great experience with them, and I've never had them come say, "Hey, we're going to shut down your account."
Yeah, no, great point, and I echo that sentiment 100%. It was just out of convenience for me, just to keep everything aligned, and actually, it's not necessarily a good thing, right? Like if I could potentially be screwed in the short term if they all my eggs are in one basket, right, so to speak, and that's not a good thing. So I should probably work on plan B, just like secondary residency passports and things of that nature. And that's a whole nother discussion and topic from there. So I want to pause, and I do apologize, gentlemen. As far as she brings up a great point, asking if vets or access are veteran or first responders. So since it's titled the U Kinetics, if you want to give your background, I know you give a lot to the community. You do a lot for Toys for Tots and things like that. If you want to speak to that side.
Yeah, I focus mostly on my local community here. It's a small community, small mountain town in Colorado. So this is where my heart is. This is where my family is. Everyone looks out for each other here. It's not the hustle and bustle of the city, but I'll tell you what, people are a hell of a lot nicer out here, especially since you talk bad to your neighbor here and you're going to get punched in the nose. So anyway, and not saying that doesn't happen in the cities, but everyone kind of keeps each other accountable, but more importantly, everyone looks out for everybody. So I really like that. But yeah, I'm not a vet. I actually, I don't know if you call me a +1. I dragged RG here as my +1, but
right.
He's a vet of the Hex Crypto Wars.
So my
He's
younger
got the
days,
scars. Yeah.
so in my younger days, I was a little bit crazy. Hold on one second.
Yeah.
And that was the backside of Brokeback Mountain that his town.
That's in Wyoming, bro. That was filmed in Wyoming, bro. Wyoming, bro. Now I was born in Wyoming, so I can't say much. So I probably should have left that out. But yeah, so I was a little bit crazy in my later teens and early 20s. And I went to join the military. I got a 92 on my ASVAB. They said you can have pretty much any job you want. I said, well, I want to fly. I want to fly helicopters. And my sister, she's been in the military, in the Army for 20 years now. And her husband had a good friend that was a level 2 warrant officer. And he was like, I can get you in with the flight packet. We'll skip the chain of command, because that's how he did it. He said, we'll get you there. Just go in as a crew chief. And so I was signed up for crew chief on Chinook helicopters and just a hot drug test because I was partying. So, but actually it worked out really well. So instead I became a millionaire and had a beautiful family. So it actually worked out well for me, but I got a lot of love and respect for the military. My mom was in the Women's Army Corps back before they were actually integrated into the Army. My grandfather was a gunner in the B-52 bomber bubble. We've got my sister who's been there for 20 plus something years. Got cousins that were in the military or were in the Marines until they got kicked out for not ranking up high enough, but they stayed there for 10 years. So that's the fun of the Marines. But yeah, I got a lot of love for the first responders, got a lot of love for the military, and got a lot of police officers in our family as well.
Yep. Access. Muted.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Got that figured out.
Click.
I am not a veteran. However, I'm very grateful that I live in a country where so many selfless individuals are out there, fighting for our freedom every day. I know it's not always rosy, and I just have to give my thanks and honor them in the best way possible. And I think what a better way than to push forward this financial freedom movement from inside the border. And not to throw shade on any veterans, but the most veteran thing I ever did was fight in the battlefield on online video games growing up. So, and then I took that fight to the bankers, right? So I'm doing what I can from with my skill set. There was a moment there where I thought about potentially joining the Air Force, and then the buzzword of the Space Force sounded pretty enticing there back in 19, but no, I never did finally follow through on that. So here I am doing what I can.
What about any family? Grandparents?
No,
dad?
I had great grandparents that goes back a few generations. That I think one was a pilot, but other than that, yeah, not much of that in my family.
Right on. So yeah, it just brings and this is the beauty of this. Like, honestly, gentlemen, when's the last time you've had a platform like this that actually dove in to people's backgrounds and just acknowledging, veterans and first responders and everything that comes with it on the backside.
This might actually end up being vets probably one of the best onboarding tools, because there's so many vets that, you know, either have interest in it or in crypto specifically, that just need someone to connect with, and this could be such a huge launch pad, I feel like. So I'm definitely,
we're a great community to do that. Yeah, if you want to be part of a family, want to be part of a community, we've got open arms over here for you guys, for sure.
Yeah, and that goes, and you know, the truest testament to that is in real life meetups. You know, Black Hexkin is amazing at putting on these events, as we all know, and RG knows with the tour and everything. I've been to a handful of them, and man, we collectively, just crypto people in general, we have plenty to talk about. I mean, we are like-minded individuals in that sense. We're all, you know, we're all on the same team. You know, we're working towards the same thing, whether it's this color, that color, whatever you want, token thing, whatever, it doesn't matter. We're all trying to achieve the same thing. We will get there. Just it may just be in different avenues to achieve that, and that's all right. But along with being like-minded individuals and crypto, to the essence of this show, there's a lot of military and first responders, and that's my highlight. That's what I want to bridge the gap and just have that open conversation like we're doing, and share ideas, thoughts, knowledge. None of this has to be a secret. You know, we are very early. It's still in its infancy, and the floodgates will open and the new people will pile in, and they're going to be asking all those questions. What's a hardware wallet? All these things. And we're going to be sounding like a broken record, repeating the same stuff. And there's things and tools now that we can direct people to this channel, to this person for these courses, you know, how to LP, how to, you know, the biggest thing I think as a community in general, we need to teach people is not how to hit the sell button, right? The LP side, how to exit without affecting the price. And there's a lot of LP courses, liquidity providing courses out there. Access has a great, you know, series of them.
Yeah, I mean, I think that you could point people directly into Crypto Sloth's YouTube channel. Now he's got a lot of that content for free right out there in the open. That was once paid material that's now been made, you know, public and available to everybody. So definitely take advantage of that. I'll probably post the link here in a second into the chat so you guys can check that out. But yeah, the chart would appreciate if you guys, you know, put some single-sided liquidity out there. You know,
you would all unfuck yourselves, please.
Yeah,
we don't need to pull a rack 'em every time the price goes up 150%.
Without bing.
All right, so let me jump on that one real quick, because you know what? Look, Rackham's my friend. End of story. Period. You guys can say whatever the fuck you want about him. He's my friend. Yeah. And there's something going on back there that a lot of people don't understand.
Oh, and to that point, not to cut you off, but I wasn't being that way with him. I know that it's an organization. It's not just one man. So, I mean, people are going to say what they're going to say on the internet.
It turns into a narrative out there.
It Twitter, does.
Perpetuates.
So
and it's
set him straight.
The guy didn't deserve that. He helped make the fucking top when it came to Hex. So if you guys were really here in the day, back when things were being bought, that guy and his organization was buying the shit out of Hex back then. So just want to put that out there, because I get tired of people dragging people's names through the dirt and doxing people's wallets. That's something that really bothers me. Like, they did it to my friend Mikey. They do it to Rackham's people all the time. And it's like, get the fuck out of everybody else's business. It's none of your business if a millionaire sells $1 million worth of shit. It isn't. Go get yourself $1 million worth of shit and sell it. You know what I'm saying? Why is everybody so concerned about everybody else selling shit? So I think the community really needs to get together on this and understand that selling is in the game. Period.
Well, and I got to add something to that too.
And
so
it's
a lot of people
recycled.
Yeah. So a lot of people put it all on Rackham, and you're right, it is an organization access. But here's the deal: is they ran their own pool, but they actually filed with the SEC to be a legitimate pool, unlike some of the other unregistered security pools that were run for the sacrifices. And when those tokens came back, or those coins came back, and they went to all the individuals, after they went to all the individuals who participated in the pool, Rackham and Overwatch partners had nothing to do with the tokens after that. So when you see all this dumping, it was people that were participating, but I'm pretty confident. I'm not going to say 100% yay or nay, but it wasn't actually Rackham or Overwatch that were selling. It was the people that participated in the pool. So,
yeah,
good to have that clarity. But either way, let's hope that
they learned to exit
folks
out correctly.
Folks want to learn how to do LP.
100% agree, because there's a right way to do it without slipping the price against you. And I watch these huge moves. You'd see 5-10% slippage, and you're like, you guys realize you could have made, and that 5-10% could be hundreds of thousands of dollars difference when you actually exit.
So if you don't mind, I'll actually pull up, for example, just to give you guys an example. So on this big sell that came through recently, the dude lost 200 grand on slippage. Yeah, so it was like a $1.5 million bag. He only got 1.3 out. Now that's still 1.3, but that $200,000 is a hefty fee, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, on top of your taxes that you got to pay, it's like oof.
Yeah, and that was something that was getting floated around on there as well. So this here candle, it's got a fat wick, but let's see, let's measure it. 21%.
Oh,
so I mean, if you would have just this was this to me, when I see something like that come through, I saw a guy that got shook. I saw this big red candle formed here. And it was like bearish engulfing, and it like ate up this last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 4-hour candles of price action, and somebody got shook. And they're like, I'm taking mine off. I waited all this time. This is what this guy's thinking of, and this is fun to watch. Like, it's fun to think about the psychology of what people are thinking. But they're like, I waited this whole time. Like, I'm taking this off now because I don't want to. But anyways, it does give people, and when I say people, the market, a chance to buy the retracement. This is not like the beginning of a bear market and this thing's going to go down 90% from here. This is like a nice clean pullback in the middle of a strong uptrend. So it's totally different conditions and a different part of the market cycle. So people better be paying attention. I'm telling you, like when this thing gets back up on the horse, it's going to go hard.
I love it. I want to plug Axis's paid group as well, because it's not, people don't understand this. They think, oh, people are just selling these courses, and it's like, it's not necessarily a course. It's a whole community within itself that supports itself, and he is giving alpha upon alpha. I myself almost signed up for it. I just wasn't sure I could commit to the time commitments. But if you guys have a little bit of time and you guys want to learn some extra, Axis is one of the guys here in the community that I would pay to follow and to learn from. So maybe you should show that, Axis.
Yeah, we just hit a new high number of users today. Biggest month. It's a big surprise after Green Candles print. People like to sign up. But
it's amazing how that works.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, but it's
going to get worse. It's going to get worse.
It's not dead. It's not dead.
And we've had people like come in there and just like some of the testimonials of people that have come in there and what they've learned. It's just like it speaks for itself. Some of that I put out on the
Access, do you cycle it? Does it like cycle, or are you just constantly just teaching new subjects all the time, or do you cycle the class?
It's okay. So let's talk about it. Like there's a TA course that's being built, and it's a 3-week course, and it's not done yet. But in terms of like what is offered inside of the group is every single day I'm doing analysis specifically to the RH ecosystem, but then broader, I'm looking at like the dollar currency index, the stock markets. FYI, the NASDAQ made new highs the last couple of days.
Right.
So I'm watching the entire market from like a global perspective. Obviously, part of that is like something that RG likes to do, which is you watch whale movements on Bitcoin and Ethereum, because they're kind of setting the trend and setting things in motion. And obviously, if we have some big whales in our RH ecosystem, they're splashing around in the ETH and Bitcoin world too to try to help out in the ways they can by getting gains over there and bringing that into our ecosystem. So it's important to keep an eye on the whole thing. So that's number one. Is there's the boardroom Telegram group. Vets has been in there for almost a year, and the content goes something like this. It's like on Monday nights we do a private video. It's like an hour and a half to 2 hours long. And we covered the whole market. Anyone can ask questions. Once a month, we do a Zoom meeting. Thanks to Vets, we were doing Telegram voice chats. We switched that over to doing in-person camera roundtable meetings once a month, so people can come in there and ask any question they want to get whether it's TA, chain analysis, liquidity provision, asset specific overviews. I could go on and on. How to use different indicators. So the just looking at different market trends. I mean, it goes as deep as you want to take it. You could, we've even just recently upgraded a little bit and did like asked everyone in the group are like, if you had to put yourself on the scale of beginner to expert in crypto, like where do you fall? And you'd be surprised, like when you really start to break down how much it takes to become an expert in crypto. I would say that not many people hit that level where you've mastered technical analysis, chain analysis, liquidity providing. You are a market maker. You've sold a top and you've bought a bottom for multiple cycles, and you've lived here and you've been through. I would say it takes anywhere from like 6 to 10 years to even become close to expert. And I don't know if any of us have hit expert level where you're like, you know, where you can code and you can be a dev. You run bots, like you're winning on every single angle. So, but that's helped with branching off and like helping the beginners with beginner questions and helping the more advanced people with more advanced questions. I think we're always looking for edge in the market, looking for ratio trades. Some of the hot ratio trades right now is the E-hex, P-hex ratio. Mm-hmm. Like the fees that you can make on 9mm right now are insane.
V3, right? V3 on Pulse Chain. Yep. There you go.
Yep. And by the way, yesterday on those moves, $3 billion in Bitcoin moved yesterday morning.
Yeah, it seems like every day I pull up Twitter, it's like, 12,000 BTC deposited into Coinbase from the GBTC Trust. 30,000 Bitcoin deposited into Coinbase from the GBTC Trust. I'm like, wow, like this is literally a handoff from the old whales to the new whales, which is BlackRock. And I just saw an animated thing today that shows BlackRock's taken off. They almost got 35,000 Bitcoins now.
Yeah.
So this whole sell-off.
$2 billion this morning. It's all about OTC trades too. Everything's going on in the background.
So it's all coming on. So it's funny because Barry Silbert steps down, and now they're just dumping off all their Bitcoin. It's basically like, think about it. FTX gets taken down. Celsius gets taken down. Luna gets taken down. CZ from Binance gets taken down. Barry Silbert gets taken out of GBTC. It's the existing power structure was not going to let this new guard of people have too much control. And so it's been a handoff, and it's been so obvious, but it's now like happening. So you just look at the balances, man. But BlackRock is going to be the biggest holder of Bitcoin before we know it.
Wow, that is, it's eye-opening. Thoughts on the Ethereum ETFs down the road as they come about?
Probably coming sooner rather than later, and I think they're going to streamline the process, and you'll start with an Ethereum ETF, and then what's the next? Solana, then what's next? And really, the exciting thing for me is that in this whole Richard Hart thing is like, think about the setup. You get a second, highest of stakes movie right after he wins a court case, and Pulse Chain has just done 1,000x. And all of the eyes and attention is on the premier repeat of like the Bitcoin 2.0 and Hex on DeFi and the better version, cheaper, faster version of Ethereum and Pulse Chain. And this is real DeFi, salt of the earth holders, of all different shades that have all sorts of psychotic problems all the way through. You know what I mean? It's like, this is like real, true free market DeFi, and all the good and the bad, like the bad's gonna get flushed and the good will be here, and but eventually like they'll come for us too. But you're in early enough that the upside is so much higher in this ecosystem. So I just see this huge DeFi movement get set up, playing out. It's definitely got me pretty pumped that we're all here in the right place, and we saw it coming with Hex a couple years ago. Never knew it would get to this point, but like now you're in the right spot, right? It's the perfect setup.
It is.
Crispy, food for thought on that, if you want to expand.
I don't know. You guys talking about all sorts of different subjects.
We're jumping all over. I mean, pick one.
In terms of the ETF, which I think is where you started, right?
Yeah.
For ETH. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense that we'll head in that direction. I think it's part of the maturity or the maturing of the space. But I don't know how that'll affect us, right? But have to think through those ramifications a lot. But other than price goes up, right? I mean, Bitcoin hit 100K today. Oh wait, it didn't. It didn't go up yet. But hey, listen, I'm seeing the narratives out there, right? The narrative is ETFs bringing in a ton of money. Maybe it is. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, from my little perspective, not being in control and understanding the macros, like some people might, like Access might, um, could go one of two ways, right? And but I do believe that we'll continue to see more value come in, so I'm hopeful, right? So I'd like to see that it actually does bring Bitcoin up. That's the most prevalent viewpoint, is that trillions will come in, right? And that will pump our bags. And then that includes Ethereum, ETF, if you follow that logic, would do something similar, right? And perhaps all that comes to fruition. But at the same time, I am watching these narratives, starting to sound a little bit like 2016, 2017, 2020, $1 million Bitcoin just around the corner, guys. Just around the corner. So yeah.
Getting those vibes. Yeah. I mean, what a crazy story. Just, man, yeah, this is gonna make for just the whole RH ecosystem and the evolution of one thing, from Hexkins to Pulsekins to the movies to maybe Thos 2 eventually, and the court case and this and that. Like these last 4 years plus have just been amazing, and it's going to be one hell of a story for the books, tell you that.
Well, we'd love to start making Thos too, but it's kind of not the right time to ask the community for money. And it's the double-edged sword to that right now is that, and because we couldn't have made the first one without community involvement, there's just no way. But the double-edged sword to that is right now is literally the time we need to be getting footage, like as it's happening. So it's like, it's a catch-22. We'd love to do number 2 and lose some more money again, and I'm okay with that. But the community has got to be all right with it, because it's really not just our money that we're losing; it's the communities as well. But yeah, I think long term, this is a long term play, and especially if you have a series of movies, I think it's going to point back to the RH ecosystem. And oh my gosh, I thought this guy was a scammer, and all along he was right. So I can't wait for that to be the narrative. Yep. Can't wait for that to be the narrative.
So you little whiny bitches can be quiet now and let the people that do want to get involved with the next highest stakes movie, let them get involved. It's their money. It's their mind. They can do what they want. And if you don't want to, you don't have to. You don't have to participate, but shut the fuck up and quit crying.
Well, it's funny because it's the people that are going to have something to say, and like guys that have 3 followers on Twitter, don't even have an avatar up, and like, no, they're not present. They're not face forward. No one knows what they look like. Probably keyboard warriors in the mom's basement eating some Totino's pizza rolls or something that mom baked and brought down earlier in the day, So you guys just got to ignore the noise. There's a silent majority, as Vet says, but there's also a very loud minority.
Yeah, we have a handful of Captain Save a plebs out there that want to freaking save the world by trying to punch people that they think are trying to do things that involve the community. So I think those people need to just chill the fuck out.
Which is funny because I didn't see the sign up sheet for the White Knight that I didn't ask for to come protect me. But hey, it must be out floating around out there somewhere. I mean, you wouldn't just volunteer your time to go troll everybody for no reason, would you, on the internet?
No doubt. To those people, you would say, if you're looking to exit, just look for the sign. Right? So follow the signs, leave the building.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I get it. I wouldn't have wanted to be exit liquidity for the last 2 years either. It hurts. I get it. I understand. But hey, more people are coming, so your exit liquidity is coming too, guys.
Yeah. It is a kind of a wait your turn, so to speak, depending on when a person got in. I mean, many people, but it just is what it is. You got to do your time and earn your stripes, just like many things. Unlike society these days, I want the highest paying job. I demand this, like, no, man, you got to eat some crow, eat some dirt, and work your way up the ladder and do your time. The time in the market, right? Where did we hear time in the market? I mean, it's one of those.
Yeah, and people who are dumping now. I mean, what, 6 years wasn't good enough? That's not enough. That's not diamond handed enough for you. 6 years. I bet some of them that ain't sitting out there calling for diamond hands are going to be cashing out in less than 6 years. I'm absolutely sure of that. If their price went up high enough and they had the money they wanted.
I think too, like a lot of the, I'm curious to get your guys' take on what this like next bear looks like for you guys. And what I mean by that is, is it a situation where you pull everything out, or is it a situation where you keep a percentage in to continue to earn for you like a passive income stream? I think that designation is important because the guys that are calling for diamond hands don't have a meaningful enough amount of crypto that when they do dump it on like a 10, 20, 30, 40x, it's not going to stop the bull run, and they're going to be out. And really the guys that are like 2 or 3 cycle wizards are going to be the ones just like that have such big bags, they'll never be able to cash out, and they won't need to because there will be like a certain level of intelligence to how they sell. I mean, because you can't it's unsustainable otherwise. But anyways, I just wanted to know kind of more just your thoughts on what you want to share on that regard. Because I know a lot of guys like the Corey Geary and Dane, they want to exit this cycle and they want to go right into real estate and play that cycle and then come back in at the lows. Whereas like I'm more like, I loaded up at the bottom, and so I'm like ready to turn this into a passive income stream that stays in crypto, so I don't get hit with tax problems. Like, so I don't know, thoughts.
I mean, love earning the passive way. It's been a learning curve the last 4 years. Short of your lottery plays outside and what have you. Like for me, the Richard Hart ecosystem are my blue chips. My bags are packed, so to speak. I like to go play now and have fun. Can we not have fun in crypto? I want to have some fun. I've done my time, built my ladders, done this and that. Maybe I want to go somewhere else and invest, and that's a big thing. And RG touched on it. Like it doesn't matter what other people's wallets are doing. Like we're all human beings. We come and we go, we sell and we buy. It doesn't matter, man. It doesn't matter. Just like live your life. You do you, and I'm going to do me. And I'm a grown ass man and person, and you be your own grown person and do whatever the hell you want. And whether you take lessons from like this stream and many others, take some tips. I used to spend hours and hours and hours trying to get 1 or 2 nuggets out of a 3-hour stream from like Richard Hart, etc. And that's a lot of time. It's a lot of time taken away from family and everything else in life and not living the real world. And for me, that is why like I joined Access Alive's paid private group, because I can, concentrate on my business and what I got to do, but then I can dip in and get caught up real quick. Everybody knows that that's not true for me. I'm just all over the place 24/7. And but anyways, for the regular working person, that is the whole concept of a paid group, of one you trusted sources, facts. We're always double checking everything, contract addresses, giving tips, advice. And for new people coming in, I mean, it's helped me a lot and save. I try to give back in those communities that I participate in as well. But that for me, that works for me in my situation. It's not for everybody. Go do what you want to do. But a lot of people got fucked in this last bear cycle. You know what? Being staked saved my ass more times than not. The whole world around us was burning and falling down, and hexagons in general, users were not affected. As Celsius, 3 Arrows, everybody, we know the story, but for everybody else tuning in, we were pretty much safe. We, I mean, we did sacrifices and if whatever, all that, but at the time, either way, my money was parked and safe.
Yeah, if it wasn't for good advice that we've gotten from Richard, I probably could have found myself in Celsius. I certainly could have found myself in FTX, but I didn't go in those directions.
I made a 4X in Celsius, but I saw the warning signs long before. So I just want to throw that out there. Some of us did make some money in Celsius. Yeah.
Well, I just opted not to participate in those things and to focus mostly, as I say, 99% on Hex, But of course, we're in crypto. We all, so we all come here for the same reason, right? I think that yes, there's probably some people that are here for the technology, but I think most people are attracted for the money, right? I mean, that's the idea. And it's kind of like a dirty kind of little secret to talk about, because you're like, well, yeah, it feels, people call it all sorts of names, scammy, Ponzi, whatever. But I mean, you do need more people to come in order to be able to sell. And that's how things work. Now, tactically, I don't know if that's the right word to say this, but one of the ways to position yourself for a bear is similar to like when you're going to change jobs or you're going to retire, is to make sure that you have your house in order, right? Financially, and you build yourself up some sort of a bridge account, right? And now I didn't do a real great job of that this last time, in crypto, because things were the way they were. But the idea would be that make sure you have things in order so that you are not forced to do things you don't want to do. Perhaps have a bridge account to get you through 2 years of the next bear, if that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, I hope I'm not throwing Hexo under the bus on this, but I mean, everyone roasted him when they watched his wallet publicly when it was exposed, and he was being a smart steward of his money. He's like, I don't know what's going to happen the next 2 years. I want to make sure my family's taken care of. And again, none of your business what someone else does with their money, but you got to do it. So there's those who just want to be greedy and drive the Lambo, and most of the time that's young kids. But when you get into more of the gray hairs like myself, and especially Grandpa RG over here, you're just looking to take care of the fam. You're just looking to take care of family, and that's what's most important in your life.
I was just going to fill this guy's bucket too. I was like, okay, I got something really cool to say about my partner here, so this is going to be cool. And he has to go and throw the old man thing out there, so this is going to make it even that much sweeter.
But that just makes you more impressive. That's all I got to say.
My old ass, when I got into the community here, I knew what Richard had. I figured it out, and I was like, this is the first true DeFi crypto that's actually coming out. This guy's giving us the keys to the kingdom. We are going to be the first purveyors of DeFi. So I went all in as much as I could, as early as I could. And not to talk too much about my bags, but Hex took care of me. But what I knew is that there was a whole ecosystem, there was a whole community, there was a whole opportunity that was going to be opened up in front of all of us, not with just Richard's products, but with the things that we can do to help Richard, to market, to build businesses on the outside, to help people in and out of crypto, like MCA, like the Hex Investment Trust, like the Highest of Stakes, like all of our YouTube channels and the Pulse Chain Tour, the things that we're all doing out there to gain adoption, to pump our bags. And I knew that there were some very smart people out there. And luckily, by the grace of God or whatever, I got to meet with Kinetics. And he and I are both entrepreneurial minded. And we decided that, hey, we're going to go out and build business and help this ecosystem and create passive income and tap into guys like Axis and learn how to do the things that are making money. And we did. And so we've got all these passive streams. I would suggest to everyone out there, and this is crypto advice, if you want to make more crypto and catch some when it goes up in the next bull run that comes, whether it comes this year, next year, the year after, or wherever, then you've got to figure out how to make passive crypto instead of working every day for the man and buying $50 worth every week. How do you do that? You position yourself with these tools that are out there. We've got LP providing. Learn your ass off about it. Go to Axis's classes, go to Sloth, go learn about it before you go start and stick your fingers in the holes, right? Because you're going to get hurt if you don't. Learn what you're doing. We've got validating. Validating is like, guys, right now, validating is like, it's attainable to everybody right now. I mean, it's a little expensive. Don't get me wrong, about $3-4 grand, you can get yourself set up on a validator. But if you're not doing that and looking at these things, when Pulse Chain does go to a half a penny, wherever it goes to, you're going to not be able to make a validator. It's going to be difficult. So all of these things are available right now. Staking. Learn how to stake. If you're sitting there in a bag of liquid thinking that you're going to be rich in the next bull run and dump, you're sadly mistaken. You need to figure out how to set up staking ladders. You need to set up stakes,
Yeah.
15 years, those kinds of things. Look at the perpetuals that are going on around. There's opportunity everywhere, but you have to go and do your due diligence and learn. And don't just go sticking your wallet in any hole that's out there. You're going to get yourself in trouble. You seriously, right now, the bear market was the time, and it's almost over, guys. So you've got a few more moments here, in my opinion. But this is where you should have been educating yourself to set up your passive crypto income streams. This is it right now. This is the time. So you should be out there looking at everything. And don't listen to all the FUD and chatter out there. Yeah. You've got to do what's right for you.
Yeah, unfortunately, emotions are probably your greatest enemy, right? In all of this.
FOMO is real. Yeah.
And FOMO, FUD, fear of missing out, fear of selling is also an issue for people too. But one of the big, I think one of the things that fuels that is, I think, I can speak to this because maybe I came in this direction. I looked at crypto and the huge gains. I was like, oh, this is great. I would like to get those gains. But I think a lot of people don't take the time to educate themselves about it, and they truly think, they're gonna hit that lottery ticket the first time around. And sometimes lightning strikes. It does, right? I mean, we can certainly find cases where it's happened, but generally speaking, this is a multi-cycle game, right? Unless you made an incredibly right choice, or you come in so heavy, that a 3x like with Bitcoin is enough, right? And I would say that for most people, Bitcoin's not going to do it for them, right? Doing a 3x isn't going to be enough to make, life-changing money unless you already had life-changing money to put in. But in any case, I'm probably the biggest criticism I guess I give myself is I'm like super conservative. I'm still back in the days, RG, where I was sitting in there, trying to figure out how at 1/100th of a penny I could make $10,000 a year, right? And so my conservative model is like super conservative. Sometimes it kind of gets in the way of the hope that things can be really, really big, and they could be really, really big. But you do need to position yourself because a lot of people, I think maybe this is how it works. They're like, I'm going to get rich this time, and then even if they do get that kind of paper value, they won't sell because they think it's still going to go up, and then they find themselves in that down cycle.
I got a question, RG. What do you think with what you know about the ecosystem? What do you think a hex floor price is? Assuming that hex plays out like Bitcoin, and you just get these floor prices, like give me like an idea in your mind what you think is possible in terms of floor price.
When you say floor price, are you talking about like if we run into a bull run over the next few months here, what's the floor price of the
the short term to mid-term floor price on, let's say, we'll use EHEX because it's the goat, or like next bear market bottom. So two numbers. I want one for like short to mid-term after a run up on EHEX. Where would the floor price be in your mind based on what you know? And then at the end of the next bear market, where did this the floor?
Well, when you look at how things moved, that 3-cent mark seemed like it was like that solid low, like it was really, it like niched right into that 3-cent mark, and that was kind of like where we were all predicting in the beginning. We were like anywhere from a penny to 5 cents. The in middle of there somewhere, 3-cent mark was like where we were calling the top, and it looks like we topped out at 56, and boom, we came down to 3. It held 12 for a little bit, and then boom, we were down in the 3-cent range. Now, historically, all cryptos during this 4-year cycle bull run, they all make all-time highs, and then they come back and retrace. The market is funky now. We've got a lot of, I would like to say, yeah, okay, we're going to retrace back down into 50, 40 cent land again, bottom of the next bear market coming in. However, we've got all of these ETFs, a lot of new money circulating. We've got DeFi and CeFi splitting up. So I think that's going to be the big thing here is we're going to see CeFi and the Bitcoiners and the mining operations and the ETFs all go one direction, and you're going to see DeFi go the other direction. It's not going to be like there was a marriage between Bitcoin and Ethereum. There was crypto going on there. This is a different split now. We're splitting DeFi and CeFi up. So I don't know what that's going to bring. It's a whole new dynamic, and there is going to be a lot of money floating around here. I mean, if we're seeing what we're seeing in the early stages of this, like you said, the OTCs that we're watching, billions and billions every day are moving. And that's just telling me that this 8, 9, 10 trillion dollars are saying that's coming in. And I've heard numbers all the way up to 16 trillion, which is just blows me away. But I'm thinking more like 7. But again, that's looking at the old market cycles and how things used to be. Things are changing. So it's going to be very difficult to gauge this one. Just like the last one, the top was kind of hard. I mean, Kinetics and all of us were in the back rooms. We're like, this bitch is going to $1. We're going to $1. And then maybe we could all start, costing out a little bit, taking some profits. And it caught everybody with their pants down, when it dipped after 56 cents. And, and then everyone just running around with their hair on fire after that. So, I mean, to answer your question, I hope that did. I'm really just kind of not wanting to look at all old cycles, because that's what we all do, right? I mean, we look at history, we take a big step back, we look at macroeconomics. I go all the way back to my lifetime and see how things have trailed out. And when I look at it now, I go, man, this game is changing again. Mm-hmm. This season is going to be a big change. We've got an election year. We've got the SEC like up everybody's ass right now, and getting their asses beat all the time. So that's like wishy-washy. We don't know which way that's going to go. It's looking really good for Richard, but where is all this financial energy? It's really difficult to gauge right now.
Yeah, really good for the Coinbase too. I don't know if you guys listened to that hearing, but yeah, that sounded like the judge was kind of on Coinbase. Yeah, it seemed like they were on Coinbase's side a little bit. The judge was feeding them kind of information in a lot of ways during the questioning period.
What was very substantial that she pointed out in that case was the fact that Senator Loomis came out, had an amicus brief filed on behalf of Coinbase saying, we have not given the SEC authority to go after crypto. That's a big, big deal. Hey, by the way, just throwing this out there, anyone interested in seeing Senator Loomis and maybe some other reps chime in on Richard's case? Anyone curious about that? Because I'm talking to some political actors behind the scenes that work in some pretty high profile lobbying camps that we may be able to make it happen, but no promises, no expectations, but something we would like to look at and see, and just curious what the community thinks about that.
And another thing, what you just hit on, Kinetics and access, to kind of get back into your question, is we've got to start organizing harder. Kinetics and I have talked about this from the beginning of Discourse Syndicate, that we need to create a lobbying group. We need to be in the government talks. We need to be at the table, not on the table. We need to get better. We need to organize more. I like now that we've got Pulse Chain foundations popping up and wanting to support Pulse Chain. So we've got infrastructure starting to be built. But we as Hexicans, as soon as we get done playing grab ass and fighting with each other, we need to start organizing, and we have to organize crypto, because again, that split that's going to happen, DeFi is going to have to be on its toes. Like, we need a full frontal assault here on this thing. We cannot back off for 1 second, because guess what? They're going to take us over. The CeFi folks, the ETF money, all that stuff is going to get real loud, and they're going to call us scammers. They're going to call us money launderers. They're going to call us terrorists. They're going to do all that shit, when this is where the real people are. This is where the real crypto folks are. We need to get up and be louder than they are. And that's going to be hard, because they got the money. So we need to get better organized. And that's going to be kind of my goal for the year, as I'm out on the tour, gathering more troops, gathering more people, getting smarter folks together, getting Washington, D.C. under our belt, and starting to we're working with the lobby firm here in California now. That's a crypto lobby firm. So a lot of good things on the horizon.
Yeah, I know there's a lot of anarchists and libertarian-minded people in crypto that say, we don't need their approval. Well, trust me, they've got more money than you do, and they're going to throw it at making the rules that benefit them and not us. And you can either be privy to their rules or you can actually have a seat at the table. And that's what we're asking for, is a seat and we're not asking, we're going to participate. We just may not have as much community support as we'd like, but we're going to do it. We're going to march forward anyway, because so my dad, for his whole political career, has been a lobbyist on behalf of the Chamber of Commerce. He's ran multiple Chamber of Commerce in multiple states. And he and I had a long discussion about it. And he says, the lobbyists are the ones that make all the rules. If you're not making sure you're at that table, they will make rules without you, and it will not benefit you. It'll benefit the interests that are spending that money to get in front of the people that actually make the rules. So if anyone thinks that the right way to do this is to ignore them and just do our DeFi thing, I think you're completely wrong. I think you're going completely the wrong direction with this. So I ask that the community, if we can just put aside all the toxic maximalism and it doesn't matter which token or project or whatever it is that you're a maximalist in, it's okay for you to like your project more than someone else. But ultimately, most of us agree sovereignty and autonomy under natural law is what we want. We want a control of our own destination. I gotta give credit to the sovereignty and autonomy under natural law to Rothschild. He's the one that pounds that away more than anyone else does. But I just want to give credit to him on that. But it's true. We want control of our own money. We want control of our actual civil rights. Blockchains are libraries, and they should be protected under freedom of speech. Because if I'm not allowed to publish something to a blockchain, then do I really have a voice? So you guys get involved where you can. Yep. Get involved where you guys can.
I think Richard has laid out a perfect argument for us, with his freedom of speech, freedom of movement within the sacrifice phases and where he's going with all this. And his first win, like, in my opinion, he's going to blow the SEC out of the water. This will be the first win. I think that's just a bogus, trumped up freaking bullshit charge that was handed to him by some ambulance chaser pleb within the community. And that's why it wasn't written properly. The SEC didn't even look at it. They just took this idiot pleb's information and threw it on, a docket and sent it out. So they're going to end up looking really bad on it, but it's not the last time they're going to try to come at DeFi. They're going to be coming harder and they're going to try more. And they'll go grab a couple of cases. They'll go find some easy stuff and they'll start making DeFi look bad. And then the name slinging will come. You watch. So we got to get in front of it. We got to get out in front of it and be better. We've got to be better. We've got to be the real voice. They got to know that we're real people. They got to know that we really care. They got to know that we're not money launderers and terrorists, that we're veterans and family raisers and citizens here that don't want to have to leave our country, That's real. It's leave your country, hide in the shadows as one of these, sovereign citizens that, doesn't pay taxes and does all this other weird stuff that I don't agree with. Or you get screwed, completely screwed, or labeled a terrorist, a money launderer, or a shuckster, huckster, and scammer. So we've got to get in front of this, guys. We do.
Yeah, a united front is what's needed. It's a call to action, and the silent majority cannot be silent. Just get in tune. There's a lot of great spaces being held by a lot of different communities in general, and we see Funding Jim, Gary Woods, flying around, putting his name out there and participating and being invited as a speaker. And, he does a great job representing the community and just speaking very knowledgeably. He's he's very well spoken and versed, and his Rolodex is deep. And we all can learn from each other. And sometimes just listening, we need to do more listening sometimes and put ourselves in a better position. So, but thank you guys, Discourse Syndicate and what you guys do and fighting for, just the day-to-day grind. It's a battle. I think the Pulse Foundation is a much needed great thing. We've already seen some benefits from that. Getting us listed, where was it specifically? Was it Coin Gecko or Coin or
no?
It was CMC. It was Coin Market Cap.
Market cap.
Yes, thank you.
We're still not in the top 100 because we're not on major dexes sexes, centralized exchanges, and they need volume under the big guys to as per their guidelines to put us in the top 200 where we actually belong. But they need that volume. They need to be able to see the volume on those exchanges. But they're working, man. They're doing a lot. Shout out to Marlon and the board members over there at the Pulse Chain Foundation. They've got some great ideas. Got a guy that's already built a foundation and built a blockchain, knows how to do this, has a whole think tank of developers that come to the Atlanta Blockchain Center to learn how to do this and to be more effective in their trade. He made a great point that I thought was that I think everyone should know about is there's only 28 million developers in the world, and less than 1% of them are Solidity developers. So we need to encourage them to come over to Pulse Chain and develop all these great tools that we can replace banks with. So a real DeFi, if you will.
Let me glom on to Marlon and his efforts. He's going to be joining us in Vegas for the March 6th through the 9th, the 369 event, Pulse Chain Tour event. But here's what's cool. They're going to be doing a hackathon, basically. And it's going to be a pitch fest, really. So projects that are going to be built on Pulse Chain are going to be able to pitch their ideas, and the winner is going to be given a grant, or they're going to build a grant for the winner to have their project built on Pulse Chain. So like a real foundation, doing the real foundation work, vetting, incubating projects, and bringing them to Pulse Chain to benefit all of us, you know, and that's the kind of stuff that needs to be done. That's the kind of stuff that we need to get better at, and we need to bring real leadership into play here. And Marlon does that. So hats off to Mark. Good job.
And that's and to circle on that, it's a great point to why in real life meetups are so huge and profound. If more people were there, they would have met Marlon and been able to ask their questions in a private setting and probably get more detail and blah blah blah, and just that it's invaluable. So please, when you see these opportunities, I know there's a Greece tour coming up, a Greece cruise.
Italy. We'll be in Italy. Oh, Italy? There's a Greece one too. Yeah. So we'll be in Italy too in this year.
Yeah. And that's all on the pulsechaintour.com, right? Website.
Yep. How cool was it, Axis, when so you're on the boat, you're walking around, you're grabbing a beer or ice cream or whatever it is. And then all of a sudden there's like 20 hexagons sitting there like wrapped around Axis just listening, and we all sit down and we start throwing, there's alpha going everywhere, and it's just like, I mean, there's nothing like that, like really sitting down and with people and talking like that. And
100%. It was the best things that have happened to me in this community came from meeting face to face with other cryptocurrency enthusiasts. It didn't come from sitting online, you know, slinging language on Twitter. Like when you go out to the live events, that's where the whales are swimming. They want to see you, they want to shake your hand, and they want to see what the hell you have to offer. And if you are consistent and you stick with it, they'll pull you up the ladder with them. And so I can't say enough that I know that it's DCA season and everyone's trying to allocate as much capital to getting coins and units, because that is where we're at now. Secure your units now before the units are way more expensive. But if you can afford it, or if you can afford to like kill a certain expense somewhere else for the future of you networking with people that are the next billionaire class of cryptocurrency investors, it might be worth your time. So you can expect to see me on one of these or two of these cruises this year, connecting with all you guys, and they may even see me in Vegas. So happy to continue charging forward. And yes, this is where the opportunity is.
Let me speak to that too, real quick. Is that I see a lot of pushback also from these maxi ass wipes out there that want to say, oh, save your money, don't go to that event, or don't go to that event. Look, these events don't make anybody wealthy. Promise you, it cost me money all last year. I didn't make a dime. And I barely got to pay the people that did all the hard work. Thank you, SJ. Thank you, Black Hexagon. You guys are freaking amazing.
Yeah, those two are super helpful. Like,
and it's a thankless job because trust me, they're not making what they should be making for what they're doing. Now, the money in crypto is made by you becoming educated and you networking with people and getting together with folks. I mean, for God's sakes, when I got into crypto, I never thought I was going to have a business that made NFTs, that provided people with trust, that was a derivative of a crypto product. I didn't think I would make a movie, but because I networked, because I stuck my neck out there, because I met people like Kinetics and Axis, and we worked together and we put things together because of the things that Richard has given us. My life has come way more abundant because of that versus me just holding on to some crypto. Getting involved and being part of the system here, because it's early, everybody has their own place they can go grab right now. Like there's pieces of the pie all over the place. It's not going to be like this one day in the future. You know, it's going to be set. We're going to have lobby groups. We're going to have, you know, all these crypto products built on top of Hex and Pulse Chain and all of these things.
It's
and
like good luck going hanging out with like the billionaire Bitcoiners, of which there may be 6 or 8 of them. You know, good luck. You missed that train, you know, but this one, it's still getting going, and you can buy eHex right now at the same price it was at before it took off last cycle. So you can be there with us in person, knowing us, and you can capture units. Like, I'm telling you, the move that, dude, you said 3 cent floor, maybe, you know, maybe 50 cent floor, but in terms of short term 3 cent floor, that's 10x off the base, man. So if we were at 0.003 at the low, 10x is 3 cents. Once those are in, no more. You're not getting sub 3 cents. That's my opinion.
I think 3 cents hits and you're done. That's it.
Yeah, you're not getting below, and so you might have already missed half the move, like because you didn't get it at 0.003, and if you don't buy it till it's over a penny, you're looking at a 3x to 3 cents, whereas you could have been looking at a 10x. So smart money is buying. I know plenty of us are, like, and it's not just eHex, of course. I like to blow the eHex trumpet, but Pulse and both of the hexes are amazing buys. And then if you want to take your game up a notch, start ratio trading PulseX and Inc.
Yeah.
And if you want to network this weekend, by the way, we're going to be in California in Irvine. You can go to pulsechaintour.com and come hang out with us. And that's a cheap event. That's not a big cruise. That's just come hang out with us. We're going to serve you some drinks, hang out, have a good time. We're doing a seminar there too, so you can learn about DeFi, bring your onboard. So if you're in Cali or you want to come to Cali, we're going to be there this Saturday. So check it out on pulsechaintour.com.
Yeah, and trust is huge in everything. Like, I mean, you see it on Telegram, all the scammers, this, that. I mean, we're surrounded by scams. I mean, like all of you guys, how many fake profiles on Twitter have been thrown up, changing little letters or double I's or double A or whatever play, right? Like, so peeps, always trust but verify, but always verify. Check 2-3 sources of anything, especially if you're degenning and running around, getting into new hot things as things are popping up on Dextrainer or whatever. Look at the Twitters, look at the Telegrams, double check your contract edges from 2 to 3 different sources. We all talk, we're a community in general, and so do your due diligence. Everybody hates to hear the horror stories because we're all one click away from losing it all, one click away. So, do it smart, play with degen with a wallet that has nothing in it and put money in it and then connect to the DApp. Don't use your staking wallet address to go connect to other things. It's ludicrous, but some don't know. You don't know what you don't know. So if we need to repeat the basics and redundant, repetition is key. RG eats crayons, like it takes me a while. He's a crayon eater. He is by definition.
Oh, man.
I
prefer paste.
Hey, but so I'm a slow learner and repetition's key for me, bottom line. So especially with the LP stuff, oh my God, I need those courses, seeing the left and the right and it's opposite and this and that, like it's a lot. So I think everybody that puts it out there.
Well, everything that's worth doing is hard at first, right? But it gets a lot easier as you do it more.
Yeah. Yep. And that's where 100%. We're at. So, all right, gentlemen, I won't keep you any longer. I am thoroughly honored and grateful for you guys attending and joining. I think this was a success. Hopefully we can get, continue to get the word out there to all crypto communities and spread the word. Closing out, Captain, where can people find you at?
Everything on all the socials, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram is Captain RG3. And of course, our channel is Discourse Syndicate. All week long, we're doing a show somewhere. And then also go to the pulsechaintour.com, guys, and find a date where we're going to be in your town. Come meet with us. Come hang out. It's a lot more than you think. We're going to be, talking DeFi, talking Hex, PulseX, Pulse, and also, sitting down and networking mano y mano. So get onto the pulsechaintour.com, support it, and become part of us helping to fill stadiums one day.
Mr. Kinetics.
Yeah, I'm at The Real Kinetics on Telegram, Twitter. I think I have an Instagram with the same as well. I just never log into it. I'm not super prevalent on socials just because I have so much real world business work that I got to get done on the back end for everything we're doing. Just trying to build for this community. I'm happy to sit in the back and be in a supporting role. So you don't see me a lot of face forward on streams any longer. There's a lot of really good qualified guys like the four people on the screen here with me now that can take that torch and run with it. And probably more knowledgeable in a lot of different areas. So it's great for all you newbies to, especially newbies, to be listening to these guys. And some of you guys that have been around for a while, you're going to pick some things up hanging out with these guys anyway. Discourse Syndicate is our channel. We have, by the way, we launched the Hex King last month, which is an NFT project commemorating Richard Hart and his fiefdom, so to speak. There's a whole lore behind that world. And on Friday, with the Tang Gang, we're going to be doing a free mint Friday for the Tang Gang holders of 69,420 HOA for the Satoshi. Satoshi is our next character. It's got some lore attached to him as well. And those who hold the NFTs will be expanding on the world of Letheus and the lore behind it. So that comes out on Friday. Just kind of fun, trying to start incorporating other different blockchains and things of that nature. But the higheststakes.com, those are pretty much the places you can find me, at The Real Kinetics.
Right. Hey, and then Pulsar is in the works. That's out there, right? It's a thing.
So we just got through audit on that. As many of you guys are familiar with, there's this project that had more volume in every day than all of Pulse Chain combined. It was called Titan X on Ethereum. We found a way that we believe will help both ecosystems, both the Titan X ecosystem and the Pulse Chain ecosystem, by bridging value over to Pulse Chain. That's all I'm going to say for it about now. But we've got just went through the audit process and looking to help the rising tide lift all boats on both sides, especially the Pulse Chain side. So we're really excited about that, but more to come soon.
Yeah. Hey, and if you guys haven't peeped it, check out Access, the token. Like, oh my God. Do you want to show that chart, bro? I mean, it's pretty impressive.
Do I want to show the chart?
Do you want to show the chart? Here, let me whip it out for you.
Yeah, let me just
Does a dog like a bone?
Yeah. I've seen some pretty charts, being in the Hex community, but that is a freaking pretty chart right there. Look at that thing. Oh my goodness.
Total volume traded since the beginning, $1.5 million. Not
Any
bad.
other chart you've ever seen?
Yeah, you're not going to see many charts like this. I thought, how better to prove, your knowledge in LP than to make a chart and paint it. So here we go. And it wasn't just me. I got a lot of support from people I don't even know who they are buying this chart up. So it's pretty cool. Pretty cool. I think the total. What's that?
I was just gonna say it serves as a great training aid as well.
Sure. Yeah. Good assist there. So yeah, I mean,
It sure did.
The whole point was, Crispy and I. Crispy was the lore is Funding Jim made a bunch of influencer tokens that he didn't really know what he was getting himself into, I don't think, and so he made all these influencer tokens, but he didn't make a Hex Fire and an Access Alive token, thank God. And so, Hexfire, Crispy Man was like, "Hey, man, I want my own token." So he
That's
went
right.
ahead and
I want my own.
took the reins and took the responsibility to do that. And so then, early on, it was like we were creating these things as educational tools, and we paired the Hexfire and the Axis token together. And the charts look exactly the same. Like if you put them on a log, they printed the same exact pattern because they were binded by more of each other than anything else. So then they did it their own unique pattern. So it's really cool because what you get here with the Axis chart is it's super pure because it's got a really scarce market supply. So like you can actually see and go into the blockchain and see like, oh, who made this big red sell-off candle and how much coins does he have left? And you could track him through the blockchain and say, oh, well, he's out now and he got in down here at fucking $10 and he dumped it for $100,000. It's like, good on you for doing that, brother. But you're out now, and now the coin price got up to $24,000 the other day. So it's like, it's cool. You got to believe in the mission. It's been a really good show of Hart's Law. It's pretty cool. Lately, I just made a tweet about, what's the difference between the dollar chart here on the 12-hour versus like the pulse pair. Well, notice how in pulse terms, we're actually climbing again. So it topped around the first, and it bottomed, and now it's climbing back up. But in dollar terms, it topped on the 19th, and now it just started to reverse now. So, how is that possible that it went up in dollar terms, but it went down in pulse, but now it's going up in pulse and down in dollars? Well, it's because of Hart's Law and how it's binded by its pulse liquidity. So if pulse goes up and down, it's only getting its dollar price from the number of pulse times the price of pulse, right? So if pulse comes down, it drags down our dollar price. But if there's a net buy pressure on the pulse chart, you'll actually see the price go up against pulse. And this is what you want to watch. When you're measuring coins, the only thing that matters is their performance against the native asset, whether that be, and this goes back to the Bitcoin and Ethereum days too. If your coin can outperform Bitcoin and Ethereum, or in this case, Pulse Chain, your coin's GOAT. It's goated. So it's like you want your coin to do well against the native asset.
Yeah, and for those that you can't see on that screen, that is $18,459. So just saying.
Just saying. The biggest sling that you can do is put the percent on. It's done a 2.29 billion X return since the start, and then against Pulse, it's done 2.7 billion X. That's crazy.
Holy shit!
So, anyways, I'll get off my soapbox and just say
the guy might know a little something
Basically.
about LPing and getting out without getting wrecked for the question that was posted earlier. So.
And there you have it. The chart doesn't lie, man. The chart doesn't lie.
It's basically
All right,
the Berkshire Hathaway of this ecosystem.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's rumors, there's rumors that it could be well on its way. So let's hope the community picks it up.
I'm always saying, access to 100K, baby. I believe.
Fucking
I believe.
Crispy
Why
says
so
that's a
bearish?
pump for ants. Yeah.
Yeah. I know. We got to start somewhere.
I think the greatest thing I learned was a better appreciation for founders, market makers, and whales. As much as we might pick on all three of them, man, there's so many risks and so many things that go on that you have to work really hard at making something successful.
Yep. Yeah, you've built Axis. You built this baby from the ground up, and it's been an amazing ride, and it's only beginning. Yeah. Where can people find you?
Find me on Twitter or x.com/axisalive, on youtube.com/axisalive, and on my website at axisalive.com. I update the events page pretty regularly. I have Candace in the back. She's my admin. She's always updating the site with information on upcoming streams on the events page. And if you want to know more about that, services that we provide, I got a TA course coming out, which is going to be amazing. No one's ever done anything like this before. So keep an eye peeled on maybe some of the socials for when I have an announcement on that. And we'll see you guys on the next stream.
And by the way, Candace is your best chart, bro. Not that one.
Oh, you thought this was possible without Candace? Yeah, no way.
Yeah. Did you guys see that thumbnail? Yeah, that was Candace. Yeah.
She's crying in the other room now. You just made her tears of joy.
Yeah, no, great woman. Great woman. God bless. Man, Mr. Hexfire, like the info and the charts. Is there anything you want to throw up? You want to tease the kids at home with anything? Throw them a bone real quick. What's your favorite one? What's your best?
I got a lot of stuff going on, but you can find me in 2039 counting T-shirts. That's where I'm at right now.
True that. True that. Laughing all the way.
That's the opportunity for another generation. Maybe it won't be me, but somebody's got that. So to kind of back that up, remember, Big Payday was a thing in the past. It took place. 60% of the T-shares, the Big Payday T-shares, the majority of them will be gone, I think, before 2030. But maybe as late as 2030. So if you're here for multi-generations, you might be looking at a lottery ticket out there in 39 because they're for sale right now. Well, that's what I'm thinking. Go ahead.
No, I'm just and to that point, like I think we're gonna see a lot of people are gonna EES when we hit different price points, right? Whether it's $1, $2, like, I mean, some people inevitably, when they get to like 50% to get their principal,
7.5 from those 2 years, 3 years after that, that's when you're going to see just dump. EES.
Well, we'll have a trial run here in about 11 months, right? And if you see that upswing on the 10-year stakes being emergency end stake, yeah, maybe we'll see that. But I think you're right.
Yeah, no doubt. All right. Well, thank you, everybody. Greatly appreciate everybody in attendance. Bear with me here. I'm going to play a quick video from the Hex Cruise, some of us fishing and having a good time, and then we'll lead into the outro. So thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.
And baby, you can have whatever you want. You taste so sweet, I can't help myself. You like candy, you like liquid honey. You taste so sweet, I can't help myself. You like candy, you like liquid honey. Oh, we're moving places I can't control. I don't know how to be without you. I don't feel whole. Look what you've done to me now. You got a body like a model. You got a body that you always find. Open up a bottle, and baby, you can have whatever you want. You taste so sweet, I can't help myself. You like candy, you like liquid honey. You taste so sweet, I can't help myself. You like candy, you like liquid honey. You like liquid honey. You like liquid honey.
First Saturday, yay! Isn't it supposed to be on 2 feet? Holy!
Yo, it's the Hexicans again. Crypto, this ain't the end. It's real life, not pretend. The code is what we defend. We some crypto junkies. Hex and pulse chain be comfy. The price action bananas. Chimpanzees, monks, making trust asleep. How can I claim a loss? Hex and Pulse Chain, they didn't rug. Gary Gensler, we're the victims. I really think you just spreading some FUD. So tell me what this is about. Oh, you do anything for the clout? You are a joker, and I am dope, but that's just a fact. Full disclosure. So tell me what's next. You think Richard Hart's gonna run with the funds? I heard some influencers say that, and to me, that sounds really dumb. But that's just me, and we will see. Hex is no company. I own my crypto how it should be. No restrictions, totally free. With DeFi, there's no middleman. Just code program to do what it do. Repetitive tasks, kiss my ass and regulate this new asset class, cause we some crypto.